Billy back here. Today I'm going to be reviewing a movie. Now, this was a film that I actually watched as a kid on TV, but I did not remember much about it. I just remember a guy with a hook hand. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, this has a slipcover on it to protect the steelbook. I got this Blu-ray. I thought it was 4K, but it's actually a Blu-ray, and the picture quality is incredible. I picked up this Blu-ray Steelbook whenever I went to Walmart right after Best Buy had quit doing movies, and Walmart said they were going to be taking over the Steelbook game. So there's the cover there. It has our four teenage characters, and then on the back you have him with the hook hand, which I think so, or holding the hook, which is incredible. And then you have the spine there. I'm really a big fan of these steelbooks, and I have decided to start keeping if the sleeves have art on it, which this one does. It has the killer with the hook on the front, and it has the teenagers in the car on the back. Now this film, like I said, I'm going to be buying some protectors for the films that don't come with this or that just don't have as good of a cover. This film was incredible. It has Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Philippe, and Freddie Prinze Jr., Johnny Galecki, Bridget Wilson. I really like Johnny Galecki. He was great as like a secondary character in this film. He wasn't in it a lot, but the scenes he were in definitely added to the story. This film, like I said, I hadn't watched it as a kid, so I didn't know what to expect going in. But the basic premise is these four teenagers are planning their future of either going to college or working. And as they are driving, one of the friends in the back seat is drunk and he is standing up and knocks basically a bottle into the driver, and the driver loses control and ends up hitting a person, and they think he's dead. But instead of calling the police, they decide it might hurt their future, so they're scared and they decide to throw him into the water. Now they discover he actually woke back up and was alive, but they still threw him in the water because they got scared and startled by him waking back up. So this whole film, Jennifer Love Hewitt's character, she definitely one is the one that really wants to go to the police the most. So her character is definitely my favorite. Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt's character is definitely my favorite in this film. And the four of them, a year later, a letter goes to them. They start getting letters about I Know What You Did Last Summer. So this whole time, they think they killed somebody, and this there was an accidental drowning of this boy, and so they talk to the sister, and they're trying to put the pieces together of who this man was, right? Like, who did they kill? And in the meantime, the revenge is happening. A guy with the hook is much like the story they told around the bonfire early in the film, starts targeting and going after them. And people die, people that were there that night that weren't directly involved with what happened, but they were still killed. So some people get kind of caught in the crosshairs of the killer. And it is terrifying because there's one scene in particular. There's a few scenes that stand out. There's a scene where one of the characters is up high watching the other perform to give up her crown, and he is attacked, but nobody believes her, and they're holding her back when she's yelling. And when the sheriff goes upstairs, obviously there's no body, there's blood that is missed, and then a lot of things happen in this film, right? But they see somebody wearing a hat that the killer was wearing while they're at the parade, and that was really cool because it could be anybody. And then there's a man up on the roof who actually is the killer that is targeting them, and it's a kind of like Telltale Heart where they have guilt, but then there ends up being twists and turns that you did not see coming, where there's more to the story than what they initially thought, and they actually find out they didn't actually kill anybody, that they actually just threw someone in the water that survived, and that they had nothing to do with the man that drowned that they thought they killed. So it's just really interesting. The acting's great. Like I said, Jennifer Love Hewitt plays my favorite character in the film. I really thought she stood out here as a great actress and just stole the show for me. And then her boyfriend is also very likable. and there are moments where they make him questionable. So I like the way that they throw in the twists and turns throughout the film. I give this an A rating. It is arguably one of the better horror films that was made then. And this film was made, it says here, 1997. This is definitely one of the good ones. And I need to watch the sequel, although I don't expect it to be nearly as this good. But only a few people do survive. I won't tell you who survives, but only a few do. So don't expect all four of the cast to make it out alive in this one. And it's that like guilt of what they did coming to life and then finding out that other things happen and it's more complicated than what they initially thought. So I really liked that part of the story. The characters are good. You root for a couple. There's a couple that you're like, eh, but you really get into their story. And the special effects were more practical effects, which I liked. You could definitely tell this was before the era of a bunch of CGI, that they went for more of the old school slasher effects. But I would put that up there with the Scream films. I mean, it's great. Scream, Fear Street, like it's definitely among some of my favorite horror films, and they didn't have to make it too complicated, which was great. Sometimes simple storytelling with a few twists and making it a mystery that they have to solve is better. And I enjoy the suspense because you know someone's after them, but you don't know quite when the killer's going to show up. So I enjoy the way they did that, and the way they did the choreography was just great. So check it out. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend. If you haven't watched in a while, give it another watch. It's worth buying the steelbook though, and this wasn't a super expensive steelbook to get, really. I was actually impressed because, like I said, I thought it was 4K, but when I found out it was Blu-ray, I was not disappointed because the efforts put in to upgrade the graphics, they definitely show when you're watching it. So yeah, I definitely say A, 2 thumbs up. Check it out, form your own opinion. But take care, guys. This was a movie review, and I hope I didn't give too many spoilers. But if you're a fan of this, you're going to understand what or why I enjoy it. Leave a comment. Who were your favorite actors, actresses in this film? Overall, what did you think of I Know What You Did Last Summer? And what are some other horror films you enjoy? I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let's get a conversation going. Take care, guys.